I've always found psychopaths and serial killers very interesting. I've always wondered what was going through their head and what made them want to kill people. A couple years ago, my dad was telling me a story about how he saw the remains of a murderer's household being carried out of the apartment. He was in Wisconsin for a baseball tournament, and they saw the freezer being carried out of the apartment, and the murderer's name was Jeffrey Dahmer. Ever since then, I have somewhat become interested in him, and I did a little bit more research after he told me that story, and I also found out that he was a cannibal. Today I'm going to provide you with information about who Jeffrey Dahmer is, why he is infamous, and what he did to get caught. Let's start off by beginning with who Jeffrey Dahmer was. He was born on May 21st, 1960 in West Allis, Wisconsin. He had a very happy childhood until he had to have a minor surgery for a double hernia. After that, people started to see a change in him, and he started to feel really insecure about himself. At the age of 10, he started to have strange desires to kill things. He started off by killing rodents and then bleaching chicken bones in acid, and then he found a dead dog on the side of the road, which he cut the head off, mounted on a stake, and then he nailed the dog's body to a tree. He started thinking about killing people at the age of 14. It started after his parents got a divorce, and after their divorce, the psychological stresses associated with this might have been the catalyst to turn those thoughts into actions. Now I'm going to tell you about why he is infamous. He started off with having fantasies about finding a hitchhiker on the side of the road that was built and had their shirt off. And on June 1978, his dream came true when he found his first victim, Stephen Hicks, walking along the side of the road. He drove by him first, and then he went back and picked him up, and they went back to Jeffrey's house, had a couple drinks, and then they made love, and then the night ended with him beating him upside the head with a dumbbell and killing him. This was only one of his 17 killings. It eventually turned into something that he couldn't control, or claimed he couldn't control, and that was something that he actually said in one of the interviews that he said right before he went to prison for the rest of his life. In the midst of all his killings, he claimed that he was very lonely, even though that he was doing all these things with all these men. But after killing them, he started to eat them so they would be like a part of him. And I did a little bit more research on that, and they whenever they found all the stuff in his house, they claimed to have found just human meat and stuff, along with just cut up vegetables and condiments, because eventually human is what all he would eat. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about how he was caught. His 17th victim was Tracy Edwards, and he escaped Jeffrey Dahmer's house. Running down the street, he was naked with handcuffs around his wrists. He flagged down a cop car and brought the cops back to Jeffrey Dahmer's house. Once they got to Jeffrey's house, Dahmer said that it was all a misunderstanding, and the cops almost believed him until they saw Polaroid pictures hanging up on the walls of dismembered body parts. Once they saw that, they immediately arrested him. Once he was arrested, they went back and searched his house, and they found 11 dissected bodies in acid vats and in the fridge. They found more picture albums of dismembered bodies, and they also found 2 skulls on top of his computer. He was arrested on January 30th, 1992. He pled to file guilty but insane. And on February 15th, the jurors found him guilty and sane. Now I am going to. He was sentenced a minimum of 936 years in prison. Eventually, while he was in prison, a fellow inmate found him cleaning the bathroom in the gymnasium, and he bashed his head open with one of the dumbbells, and it killed him instantly. As a conclusion, Jeffrey started out just like any other guy, and then he turned out to be a deadly, gruesome human being. Today I've provided you with who Jeffrey Dahmer was, how he was infamous, and what he did to get caught. I hope this information has taught you a little bit more about Jeffrey Dahmer. Thank you.